is going to have a bit of a logjam at goaltending, so maybe that's what it is. The number one goaltender that Editor and Leaf think Leafs could go after or should go after, none other than Mr. Elvis's 1B counterpart, Jonas Capasolo. I guess the exact same reasons I wouldn't go after Elvis would have to go for Capasolo too.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
Corpusolo. Sorry.
Yeah, Corpusolo. I mean, yeah, great. I don't know. I guess we could do maybe a trade with them if they wanted to clean up their, like what Anaheim did with Gibson and Freddie, and you're just going to choose one. But what are we sending back in return for those guys? And then what happens to Freddie? Is Columbus going to take Freddie back? So we'd have to make 2 trades there, which is ridiculous. And I just don't think that's going to happen. There are so many more, like, I don't even think we're going to get these guys, but there's more common sense goaltender trades out there, like maybe with John Gibson on Anaheim. I know we got Freddie from Anaheim, but like, I don't know. I don't see the Columbus goaltenders coming. Like, out of those,
can't see it.
Out of those 3 goalies, the only one that makes sense is, okay, then keep Jack Campbell and play who's hot between him and Freddie. Okay, done.
Turn them into a 1A, 1B.
What a crazy article.
The only other thing that Corpusalo, plus I could see is that his AAV is $2.8 million, which is.
What are their years for both the goalies?
It doesn't give it to me, but what it does tell me is that he's got 2 more years at 2.8 this year and 4.6 next year.
Yeah, okay. So the only way we're getting those Columbus goaltenders is we let Freddie walk in the offseason, and then we make a trade towards Columbus.
I mean, unless Columbus is going to go with one guy, they pick up Freddie for the half season, maybe play him, maybe don't play him, or just have him as an insurance into the playoffs, and then let him walk in the offseason. But then I don't love it.
Well, I think the one truth about the Leafs goaltending is there is one season of play that's going to decide a goaltender's future with us, because Freddie's not going away at the trade deadline, or whatever. Like, he's our goalie for this year. Him, Jack, Villy, Wall, whoever you're going to put in there. Hopefully not Hutchinson.
Yeah.
If Freddie makes it past the first round, we're probably going to re-sign him, or there's a good chance that we are. Maybe not. If we don't make it past the first round, he's definitely gone.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think at some point there's going to have to be a scapegoat. It's not going to be Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares. It's not going to be any of those core guys. Maybe Riley. I mean, Riley's got is it this year or next year is expiring?
I think he's got this year and another year left.
Okay, so. And
the one thing I will say too, even though my dad's a little bit of a Joe from the Bridge character with his takes, is that I would put Freddie's money towards Hyman, re-sign Hyman, and you know what? With COVID and the salary cap and all these issues, like, just go after a goaltender in the offseason.
Just find something.
Yeah,
okay, so let's move on from this goalie debate, because unfortunately, I just feel like we're not going to have any answers until it actually happens. Let's see. Okay, so we're just burning through a lot of our hot takes. Simmons soon to return. We got that out of the way. Do you want to talk about the Lennon trade?
Well, sure. Yeah. So Lettinen was traded for goalie Vaini Venäläinen, whatever the hell you're.
Thank you. I'm glad you said it, not me.
Yeah. Whatever. I'll take the loss for that. So
yeah. Thank you so much.
On the goaltender's end, he's a small Finnish goaltender. He did okay in Finland. He had 1 game of experience in the NHL when Columbus got shellacked. So is it Columbus that trade was with? No.
Yeah, it was Columbus. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Columbus. Yeah. So that's his only experience. So he could do well. Like I said earlier, I think it has more to do with Lettinen. I think Lettinen, with his contract, it was pretty much, we kind of guaranteed him playing time in the end to come over. It didn't work out. The Leafs seem happy from Dubas's little press conference that they like their defense that they have, and he was kind of the odd man out. So when you promise him hours, he's kind of the odd man out. It's best for him. It's best for him to probably move on and not have any kind of hindrance or anything negative in the locker room. So no real loss. Like, he was okay. My dad had high hopes for him for some reason, but he was okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, there wasn't a spot for him for like an older defenseman. I think he's like 27, and that's fine. Like, if you don't have spots for him, that's okay to have. If you have all spots filled, that's a good problem to have. So, you know what? We need some goaltending just in case, because I don't think Hutchinson's the answer, even though he's on Toronto's team for the next 2 years, or for at least this year, next year, he's contracted to. So I don't mind it overall. And I think at the end of the day, players in the league will see that, like, they did him right. Like, they gave him an opportunity to play. At the end of the day, they didn't keep him, buried like the Oilers did with Sam Gagner. Like, they let him spread his wings into the NHL, and he's going to hang out with Torts in Columbus. All good.
Oh yeah, you never hear any former player or ex-player ever talk bad about the actual organization and playing for it and how they take care of you. Like, this team usually does right by you, and we also have the money to do right by you constantly.
Fair enough. All right, moving on. AM34, what's up, baby?
Absolute stud. Even when he's off in a game, he looks on. The best player to wear blue and white in so long.
So long. Couldn't agree with you more. On top of that, all the stats are there. First in the league to 20. We have a question coming up that we put out to the listeners. Will Matthews hit 50 goals this season? I made that claim to fame before the season started. We'll see what the people said.
Yeah, that by the way, the overtime goal against Helly. Obviously, if you're listening to a Leafs pod, you've seen that goal. How nasty was that goal? And he was gassed. And I'm telling you right now, I was flipping the fuck out about the broken stick. I know I texted you. I was foaming at the mouth.
That was firewood, Charles.
Like, my bro, he's up screaming about the goal, and I'm just like, yeah. I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm like, it's all right, man. We won. It's all right.
The silky mitts on Matthews receive the pass, go receive it, backhand up high, incredible, and lightning quick. The silky mitts, you gotta love it. AM34. Come on, like, how many awards this guy's gonna be up for at the end of the year? The Rocket, MVP. Like, what else you want to give him? I'll give him anything and everything. So incredible. Yeah. Big high five. We're gonna stay positive.
Yeah, he had that 2-3 game kind of where he didn't do much after but you could see it was there and it was coming back. He was a little cold, and now it's back to Poppy.
That guy was hitting 2 points a game.
Yeah.
At an unreasonable clip. He was gonna have to come, and a 3 or 4 game pointless drought. Yeah. I get it, but the guy is money, if you ask me. Well worth a $13.5 million he's getting paid this COVID season. Moving on, rough March for Mr. Hall. What's going on with your grease mechanic?
You talking Justin Bobby as in Bobby or Justin Hall?
Yeah.
He's clearly, if you've listened to any Toronto radio around the city the last 2 weeks, they've told you that he's come back down to earth, regressed. I don't have to really explain. He hasn't looked the best. Him and Muzzin are our shutdown line. That's what that line is built for, and they haven't been doing the greatest job. There's been some lapse in judgment, lapse in defensive plays that have cost us. But I still believe in Hall. This guy's sick. Like, my worry about Justin Hall right now, my biggest worry, is that we need to make sure we have some type of bargaining chip or blackmail to Seattle to keep him out of the expansion draft.
Wow. Yeah.
That's what I worry about Justin Hall in the future. Right now, it's fine because this team, I'm not worried. I came into this episode in a good mood, even though we lost, because all it takes is one more game against Calgary, this team on the rise. We have a dominant game. Boom, we're back in it.
Yeah.
The whole team's firing.
It can't be stated enough that when you're at the top of the mountain, everybody's hunting for you. You think anyone gives a fuck about Calgary?
No.
You think anyone gives a fuck about what's going on with Vancouver? You like Vancouver fans, but no one's worried about Vancouver. I think everyone's hitting whoever it would have been in first place. Everyone's hunting to be number one. Moving on, we talked about the trade. Let's get right into buds and duds. This is where we go. We give you 3 of our top Leafs for the month of March so far, and 3 of our not so tough buds of the month.
Yeah,
But
and
I
I'll
want to
say,
start.
yeah, so we'll start with buds. I will say going into duds, I had two the same as you, and I'll say which ones, but I have some bonus ones to replace them for my
All
pick.
right.
So buds, number one, media darling Zach Hyman,
Yes.
one of the most beloved men in Toronto right now. I mean, what can you say? I think it's completely justified what we're saying about him. Because like we've said before, I mean, it's a white collar city, but it's a blue collar team and a blue collar fandom. And Zach
Damn.
does all the dirty work that you want. That's why I love him. I want that money to go towards him and he resigns. Like, yeah, he's not a fighter. He's not a tough guy. That's not it. But he must be one hell of a guy to play defense against. Like you must
Yeah.
be tired at the end of your shift, and that's what I want from him. He's a stud, not
He
a butt. He's a stud.
he is 100% grinder approved. Let's go, baby. This guy never takes a shift off. Never takes for all the shifts that Nylander takes off. This guy makes up for it. I actually scratched out. I had as my number 2 stud. I had Brody, but I agree with you 100%. Zach Hyman been on a point racking like mission. The guy's getting goals every game, getting assists every game. Third line, first line, doesn't matter. Put him in, coach. He's ready to go. I love it.
Every time he's behind the net with the puck, I have faith that he's going to get it out to a guy, or he's going to lose the man covering him on defense. That's how good he is.
Down low, I mean, I can't think of any guy on the team that is better than him down low in the corner in front of the net.
Yeah.
It's just he's just a fantastic player. He's the type of guy that I'm happy to have on my team. Moving on, my top bud is Pierre Engvall. Yeah. He's been hot and cold for me all season. I know that Papa Walks is a big fan.
Yes,
but I'm definitely starting to see his value as a shutdown forward, a guy who can be versatile. He's got hands when he needs them. He's got speed when he needs it. But the guy's just a pretty responsible player and a guy for your bottom 6. I think he is a good value bottom 6 guy. So I thought he played pretty well overall, especially the Leafs. When the Leafs were sinking against the Jets, I'm sorry, what is it? You saw Engvall get a bunch of ice time. So I like him. I think he's definitely turned it around, and I'm seeing his value. Go ahead. Give me your number 2.
Well, and I'll just say I completely agree with your pick. And that kind of like skinny, lanky, speedy skating momentum he has is so surprising. Like the guy can wheel.
Yeah. I have a client. He's a high-level skater, figure skated for Canada nationally. He was saying that the way that Engvall skates is actually the proper way to skate. And then I started making assumptions of things. When you see a lot of power skaters, American power skaters, like a guy like Matthews, Patty Kane, even Ovechkin, I know not American, but they skate kind of with their stick up in the air where the blade is above their head, and they're building momentum that way. Phil Kessel was a lot like that. You watch a lot of Canadian skaters, they got their back hunched over and they're pushing the speed that way. But when you watch Pierre Engvall, he's not up or down. He's kind of middle, straight back. He looked like he's like a sail on a sailboat as opposed to a skater on ice. Interesting way to skate, but he's a power skater for sure.
Yeah, it's like he's got a great center of gravity, and he just knows how to stay back.
Yeah, I think go on.
So my number 2, bud, and this guy's number 2 because he was a dud before, and I'm going to give him his credit. We've already talked about him. Oh, captain, my captain, Mr. JT. I mean, we called him out when he wasn't playing well, and I mean, the guy's a fan of the show. He took it in stride, and now he's stepped up. And
thank you for listening, JTO. Love you, buddy.
Yeah, I love you, man. Just I almost wanted to give him a bud, like I said, for that pass and the hands alone on that Willie goal, but he's just stepped it up. I mean, he's one of the strongest guys. Like we're talking about center of gravity. When he's low, one of the strongest guys out there to get off the puck.
Yeah.
Like just absolutely unreal, the work that he puts in. And he definitely needs a speedy guy with him on his line. Sorry, I'm boring you, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, but when he has good line mates, not that he necessarily needs them, but man, he's firing now. Like it's just such a bonus. He's such a workhorse and never cracks a smile unless his teammates score. Otherwise, captain serious like Taves.
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree with what you're saying. He gets honorable mentions for me. I'm glad he's warming up. For me, he's not where I expect him to be, but he's not far from it either. okay, so I mentioned that Hyman. I was going to put Hyman at number 2. TJ Brody, strong skating, really responsible in his zone. Doesn't give up too much. Doesn't get burned on his plays, his high risk plays. I was always taught as a defenseman, you never slide to try to take the puck away. You never do that because it takes you out of the play. I see him do it all the time. I get paranoid. I've only seen him regret that play once, and I think it was against the Senators. But the man is a very responsible D-man, something that Toronto hasn't seen since Ron Hainsey. And not only that, but he is way better than Ron Hainsey. But a defensive defenseman that can play on your top pairing, this guy, well worth his money.
Yeah, he's made it clear why he was Dubas's first choice before Tyson Barrie when they tried to trade Kadri to Calgary.
Right.
And Kadri declined the trade, and that's why we didn't get Brody, and he ended up going to Colorado. But he is so good. And I remember there were some Calgary fans laughing, being like, man, without a guy like Giordano, like a shutdown type defenseman, tough guy, he's going to regress so much. You're putting him with an offensive guy like Riley. What a pair. Yeah. Brody, like I said, when he's quiet, good quiet, that's what I love the most about a defenseman. So he is on our power play. He moves it out of the zone so smooth. His breakout passes to Matthew are just seamless. So yeah, he's definitely a bud.
Yeah. All right, give me who you got number 2.
Or number 3.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Because we did, yeah, you're throwing me off now. Yeah, it's number 3. So this is a guy you've praised in the last few episodes, Zach Bogosian. Old man Bogosian. I mean, without Simmons, this guy's fighting, trying to fire up the team. I mean, he's skating like a young man on that third line. He's tough in front of the net, pushing guys off Freddie when he can. You can tell when he's on the ice, he has a presence about him. Yeah. So Bogo, I've noticed a lot more on that third line, and I am a huge fan of what he brought. Like when these minor veteran contracts work out like this, it's such a bonus.
He doesn't do too much, but what he does do is he definitely doesn't overdo what he has to do. He does what he has to do, and then he's out. He pinches and then he's back. I have to agree. Bojo for me is he is exactly what you want out of what you paid. Yeah. I love it. Okay, my last guy. I mean, we already talked about Big Willie, but Big Willie Styles. Oh man, you gotta love it because he's eating so much shit. He's eating so much shit, this guy. I feel for him. I joked around first couple of episodes. I told my wife that he's transgender. Like, so many things. But this guy is a big-time player. And if you don't think he's a big-time player, he gets called out on the front page of one of the most popular newspapers in the country. And then he brings it on the ice. He doesn't sulk about it. He doesn't fucking get his agent to put something on his Instagram. He fucking wears it, and then he goes out and proves himself. He's playing exceptionally well. And I was trying to find a player close to him and compare contracts. A comparison that I got. So Nylander has got 12 goals, 12 assists. Johnny Gaudreau out of the Calgary Flames has 24 points. He's got one more goal. Guess what their contract difference is, Bah?
What? A mil?
$300,000.
Oh yeah.
So that I mean, everyone bitches about this contract. This contract's right where it needs to be. For a guy who's probably gonna end up with 50 points at the end of the season, his contract's exactly where it needs to be.
All you need to see now, if you ever want to bitch about a contract, just look at the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh my God.
You want to talk about point totals and bad contracts? I don't ever want to hear anything about the Leafs again with that organization in the same league. And I hate the Sabres, but I love the Bills. I legitimately feel bad for Buffalo fans, and I didn't think I'd say that about Sabres fans. Like, I feel legitimately bad.
There was a joke on Bar Down saying who's going to get more wins from the 2021 season, the Buffalo Bills or the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Bills got 14 wins last season or 12 wins last season. The Sabres have 6.
The Sabres have lost 11 games. But I could sit here just chirping Buffalo.
That's true. You're right.
But yeah, I'm going to agree with Willie. Look, he's, like we said, there's going to be times where he's off, where it looks like he doesn't care. That just kind of comes with Willie. You're going to have to accept that. I'm not saying he's the same player, but it's like a Fedorov or someone like that. Highly skilled, high paid, and guess what? When he stops playing and he makes a bonehead move, as Canadians, we're just like, God damn it. Like, what the fuck? So that's just going to come with it. But he is worth. Trust me, when the NHL, that is a good contract. There are teams that are looking at Willie being like, well, I'm not going to take him with that contract. No. What he's doing, come on.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get into our duds. This is where we talk about players that are just not doing it for us. First on my list, I've already talked about him, so I'll just throw his name out and then throw it to you. Freddie Anderson, still not doing it for me. Bah.
Yeah, so I made a bonus, but yeah, he's first on my list. He has to be for the duds. I mean, it's not been a great month of March, but I was still thinking pretty positive. So, I'm trying not to be too hard on the guys and look for it sucks that we call them duds, but that's what the segment is. But Freddie's been a dud. There's no way around it. You can't justify those numbers. I mean, whether you believe it or not, we're going for the cup or we're going for a deep run. And he is not playing like a goaltender who will take you there.
Right.
And
you're right.
He on this type of team, yeah, the Leafs are great. We're not expecting them to win every game, but they're dominant. They've been dominant, but you still need a goalie to win you games. Like, it just happens in hockey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Freddie for sure is my number one dud. Like, I don't want to give up on you, Freddie. Like, I'm hoping you just step it up and you're healthy, but yeah, totally dud number one.
Yeah. Dud number two for me, I've already harped on him, so I'll keep it pretty simple. Joe Thornton, Jumbo, I want you to be there, my man. It's not like I don't have faith in you. I want you to be there. But my dude, you are killing me. You just aren't doing any. It's like that fucking meme. Do something. The stick guy fucking looking at his dog. Do something. And I know he's not the game changer that we know. Like, no one's expecting him to be a game changer. But you got to be on that score sheet somewhere. You can't just be like, you're not throwing hits. You know what? You're not face washing anybody in front of the net. You got to be putting something. You got to be doing something. You're not doing anything. JTO was ice cold, but still being a very, very responsible defensive forward. Joe Thornton, I don't see that from him either.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen with Joe. He's showing his age. I think maybe we'll see with these 4 days off, 2 games, and 4 days off again. Maybe he'll play well, and maybe it's going to be one of those things where he's going to need more rest. And I don't know if it's a guy like Robertson or Patan, not saying their answers or NHL, but maybe those guys, come in and they kind of share the workload with Joe when we're playing more physical teams and we kind of need that pickup. Jumbo Joe's going to play against Calgary, but maybe we sit him against Vancouver. We sit him against Ottawa. We have a more skilled guy. Like, maybe we just need to lessen the workload if we're not going to trade him. But yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. It's not been a strong month for Jumbo.
All right, my man. Give me your number 2, Dadaroo.
He tricked me, El Jefe.
I know.
This guy tricked me.
I know.
Michael Hutchinson. You had me in the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Because I thought, man, he can't be as bad as he was before. And you know what? He went to, I think, Colorado, had somewhat decent playoffs for Michael Hutchinson. It was like, okay, and he's coming back on a minimum to be our third goaltender because Campbell is the clear-cut backup. Okay, I can get behind this. That's not a bad depth move, even though he was shit. With the waiver wire, the draft lottery coming up for Seattle, like, it's a solid move. And he actually had a decent game, a decent couple of games, but he has come crashing back to earth because apparently what he's told us and shown us is that if the team is not firing at 100%, then you can't count on him. Because he'll make some good saves when it's 3-0. 4-0, and yeah, maybe they make it 4-1, and then he keeps it, so we keep the 3-goal lead. Great, but we need more than that. So Hutch, I think your time in Toronto may be done.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I thought the same thing you did, which was he's got experience for a third or fourth guy depth chart. That's good to have. You never know when you need some NHL experience in the net, but when it was 7.5 minutes into a game against the last place team in your division, and they've scored 2 goals on 3 shots. I don't care if you're having a bad day. You can't have that much of a bad day.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like it was a surprise where he didn't know he was playing like the other team's fucking goalie. He knew he was preparing for that game and just fell flat.
You're a Leaf fan, man. I mean, Ottawa, the worst place team, is playing a goaltender in his first NHL game against you knew we were going to lose, right?
Yeah.
Even non-Leaf fans know that. If there's a former Leaf player, if there's a guy with a career milestone, or if a guy's first or last game, if there's some kind of moment we're fucked. We're going to be
fucked.
the team. I mean,
Yeah.
Dave Ayers, like that's the Leafs. Like,
remember when Lemieux came back and his first game was against the Leafs and put up like 5 fucking points?
Yeah, I went to a game one year where Crosby was injured when he used to get injured a lot, kind of when he was younger. He came back. His first game was against Toronto. I think he had like 5 points.
Oh, was that the shoot where you got the shootout winner as well?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I fucking remember that
I went with my brother. It was an absolute joke. And like you left and you're like not even mad because we don't hate Pittsburgh and it's Crosby. You're like, okay, great.
Yeah,
the greatest player turned it on. Wow.
Yeah. All right. The last guy I got on my list is Barabanov. I know you were
0 points.
Fuck, man. You know what? I don't know where this. And you know the crazy thing is he's playing in the A. He's playing the A and lighting it up.
Yeah, okay. So then he's an AHL player, but that's not what he wanted and signed for. So
yeah. Well, the crazy thing is there is some talk with how good the Marlies players are playing right now. Galchenyuk, Barabanov,
stud right now,
and Robertson. They're all doing really well for the Marlies, and they're all putting up points. Now, I don't know what their ice time's like. But for me, Galchenyuk, for me, was a long shot. I always fucking mess around with this guy. Yeah, do you know what part of Russia he's from? Wisconsin.
No.
He blows me away. Like this guy, he's got like seven NHL teams in the last like 5 years. I just thought he'd be one of those guys where he just showed up and then fizzled out, and then quietly they just swept him into the rug. He's making some noise. He's making something happen. I would like to see him. Scott Sabrin, too. I would like to see him in a Leafs uniform just to fucking let's go, baby. You know, these guys that are always in the lineup, like a guy like, 72, Boyd.
Yeah,
like, Charles Boyd, I like him, but does he need to be in the lineup every night? Fucking throw Sabrin in there. Throw somebody in there to mix it up a little bit. Give Patan more. I always like Patan. I think that he has a lot to offer. So throw these guys out there. Like, give them a couple games, especially against fucking Ottawa, especially against fucking maybe not Winnipeg, but Vancouver. Like, throw these guys out there so that they can fucking take a bite out of the pie. Because unfortunately, like, all these guys seem like, I didn't want to say it because it's like the hot word right now in Toronto sports media, but the fatigue is obviously there with some of those guys. So give them a rest.
I think there's fatigue too. Galley has looked great at the Marley games I've watched. So good for you, Galley. I love our reclamation projects here in Toronto. These Robertson, I think, is going to be a good NHL player, and I think he's close to a return. So I'm hoping for that. And then Nick Patan, and speaking Sabrin, that's what I wanted to say. That video of the against the AHL Montreal team where and then just starts beating the shit out of their leading scorer, like doesn't even drops a glove. I want that guy in a Leafs uniform.
Yeah, right.
Like Ottawa or Vancouver, Montreal, please. Like that
Let's see what happens. All right, why don't you finish us off? I know you got a couple things to say.
Yeah, so this one was kind of, I had like a 3-way tie because I agree about Thornton. That was my original pick. And then I went to Justin Hall, but we've already talked about him. So my actual dud, number 3 right now, is Jimmy Vesey, who today was waived, put on waivers. So I think someone's being called up or there's a trade happening. But yeah, it didn't work out here. Like, I'm sorry to say, like, he was, a big body that didn't really play a big game. Like, there were some games he did play, but he was pretty invisible for a guy who's like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, that pains me. I was hoping to see something special. It was a couple years ago that Babs was just like speaking his praise, but I think it's just a ploy to get him to sign with Toronto. I hope VC can stay. I hope he can stay. I like him. Yeah. I'd like to see him play, and I think his skating is really good. I think he skates very seamlessly out there. And he's good for a couple of goals. When you're playing that bottom 6, what do you really expect? I think he's got 3 or 4 goals in a season.
He's better than Barabanov, man.
Oh, fuck, man. Isn't that the truth? All right. Who else you got in there? You got anything else?
I said Hull and Thornton, so those are my duds.
Okay. So before we get into all the questions, the only thing I want to bring up was losing to Ottawa. So, like, what does this really mean? Like, like we're in this group chat. We got a couple Sens fans in there. And for them, it's really the way they raise the cup. Like, it's for them, they understand that this year is going to be garbage. So they're holding on to anything. They're not even double digits. The Leafs aren't double digits losses. The Sens aren't double digit in wins. And for me, losing to the Sens is a kick in the dick. But the big picture for me is they're not going to be Vancouver and the Sens aren't going to be in the fucking playoffs. So why the fuck am I losing sleep about this?
Yeah. That chat, you guys fire off so many messages. I'm more of a lurker in that chat than I contribute, but man, it is so quiet when the Leafs are on a roll, and the minute they lose, they all come out of the woodwork ready to chirp you and
fucking
Dave. They're just so ready to go. Like, I legitimately think there are guys out there who hate the Leafs more than they love their own team. And that is a sad way to be a hockey fan. And there's some of you, admit it to yourself. I am talking about you.
Yeah.
More than fucking, you love the team.
That is 100% true. And I'm glad. You know what? Listen to this. The next NA30 shirt is going to say this. It's going to say, you hate the Leafs more than you love your team.
Please buy that. It's true, though. Like, they're just chomping at the bit waiting for us. I said it before. Ottawa's a shit team, but they're going to play their hearts out against us. We're the Toronto Maple Leafs. There is a rivalry. Like, in this North Division, Ottawa has every Toronto date circled and probably every Montreal date too, but mainly Toronto. And it's like, our province rival that everybody is stroking off saying is the best team. Why would you not play your hardest and try to prove against them? I would be so fired up on Ottawa to play the Leafs. I'd be like, let's fucking go. I'm going to run through a building. So you can't expect them to play like a shit team against us. So the Leafs just have to play our best hockey, because what happens is Ottawa will play well against us and we end up losing the game. Yeah. That's what's happening more.
And if you take out Hutchinson's 2 goals, or even if you give him one of those 2 goals, right? I get it. Like, it is what it is. You take those 2 goals away, at least win that game. If you take away one of those goals and Morgan Rielly's fucking open net hit the crossbar, fucking flutter that happened, that's
Willie
a different
scores
game.
Early on, it's a different game.
Yeah.
There's so many things that happen. The Leafs lose it for themselves. Like, it's just a lot of shitty breaks and bad goaltending, but the effort's still there.
All right, so I want to get into some fan questions, as well as a survey I put up on the Not After 30 Instagram page. Check us out if you're listening to this and you're on Instagram. Of course you are, because you're listening to this. Check us out, Not After 30 Podcast. I want to give a shout out to Austin Nevevu, who I probably butchered that, and I'm sorry.
Brutal, you butcher a fan's name.
Yeah. I can barely speak English, so don't give me a hard time. This is on our YouTube channel. Check us out, Not After 30 Podcast. We try to post as much as we can on there, but there's not a ton of content, but there is this. So he says, Barabanov has been good, LOL. By invisible, you mean the score sheet, then sure, he's not playing bad. Agree, disagree with this comment?
I mean, okay, he's played okay in some instances defensively or in the neutral zone, but then what did we bring him for? Like, what does he bring to that line? Like, I mean, you're right. We didn't bring him here to be a goal scorer, but 11 games, 0 goals, 0 assists. I mean, fucking Spezza's almost a grandfather, and he's finding ways. And I'm not saying Spezza and Barabanov are the same level, but come on, man, you have to contribute something. Like, there's only so much that, like, heart and hustle can get you if you're not producing. Like, it's what have you done for me lately? It sucks, but
throw a fucking hit. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that, like you said, he got sent down or whatever. Like, it's, I mean, 0 goals, 0 assists. Like, that's we're going deep into the playoff run. There's enough. The problem is, and I'm sorry, but there's enough depth that's not good enough.
Yeah, you're right. All right, let's move on. Dave Defran writes, What do you think the biggest factor for the most recent slump?
Goaltending.
Yeah, I gotta say,
there's no way. I have faith in our coaching staff. I have faith in our forwards. They're still producing goals. The heart and hustle's still there, like I said, but the goaltending has been subpar at best.
Yeah. Yep. I hate to say it, but we're gonna say fatigue. The Leafs have played the most games in the division.
Yeah, but that can only take you so far. And I brought that up to you. I agree. I'm the one who first said fatigue out of the two of us as an excuse for them. But at the same time, what my dad taught me is everybody's got fucking fatigue. Toughen up. Yep. Like, that's part of about it. So you got to deal with it.
And Steve Dangle brought up a really good point, and I like it. I like it so much that I hate saying fatigue, but there's fatigue in the playoffs. I get it. It's not. I get it. It's the middle of the season. It's not the playoffs.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it doesn't mean you just fucking take your foot off the gas pedal. Let's go. You need to win against Vancouver. You need to win against San Jose or fucking Ottawa.
You're allowed to admit it's unprecedented times. 56 games, North Division. We just had a bubble COVID, like the different time off, the quicker off season, everything happening. Like it's you're allowed to admit that they are tire fatigue. But like I said, everybody's feeling that. At some point, it's only an excuse for like a day or two, and then it's like, okay, well, you know what? Then sleep more at night. Like I don't know what to tell you. Ottawa and Vancouver face the same thing.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Showman Kyle writes, Is this a short slump, or is this what we can expect?
I think this is a short slump, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I bet you there's going to be another short slump, and knowing Toronto fans, Toronto media will question it as bad then. But I don't see them losing more than like the 3-4 games. Like I think this is going to be such a test against a Calgary team firing on all cylinders with Sutter. Like these are going to be such two very hard fought games. And we definitely need to win one. I want us to win both, and we should win both and kind of put Calgary on its heel. But I'm going to say right now we go 1-1, play well both games, and no, I do not think that this is more of an outlier. Like it's,
Okay. Oh, for me, I gotta say that I think you're right in your assessment. I think there'll probably be another slump towards the last 10 games of the season, if I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly think April, you're going to see a turn on this team where this team's they figure out a lot, and then in April they just start going. And I think you might see a repeat of February where they only lost 2 games in the season. I can see that happening. Moving on, can Anderson shake this cold start? Bob, if you don't mind, let me jump in. I have to say yes, because every beginning of the season he's garbage except for one of the last 5 seasons. So I'm going to say yes, he shakes it off and he makes it happen.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with you. Like Freddie, you know what? He wasn't even playing his best hockey in February and stuff, but we were still winning games. It was a good numbers for him. I think he's going to do even better than that. Like I think he is really going to heat up as long as he stays healthy. I think there's going to be some stretches coming up where there's a lot of play. There's some hard hockey, and I think there's a real chance that he's going to pick it up. And if he does, like, watch out, man. If goaltending starts clicking for us, then you're in real trouble.
All right. This comes from Fudgetown. Why are Leaf fans so shitty?
Oh, man, I really hope you're not a Vancouver fan saying this. So Leaf fans aren't shitty. Every fan base is shitty. The problem is we are such a large fan base that we have more voices of shitty people out there. Do not listen to Twitter or Toronto media. They're fucking idiots. Most of us have common sense. I would say the majority of any fans in the NHL, pretty decent, except for fucking Vancouver. Yeah, and possibly Winnipeg fans.
Winnipeg fans are the worst.
Yeah.
And only followed by Philly fans.
Yeah. Oh, and also my Toronto fan take, fucking inferiority complex. Like Toronto's the center of the fucking Canada hockey world. I don't know why I'm doing a New York accent for it, but
deal with it, bitches. That's it. All right. The last question before we get into the survey is from Megan.Elizabeth.Aesthetics. She wants to know, she says, I want to know if girlfriends/wives watch the games with you or are forced to watch with or do not watch.
I think she's asking, do wives and girlfriends, do they watch? And I will say no. I have sometimes a couch or bed buddy who's on their phone or laptop.
Mm-hmm.
That's the extent. And then if I'm like, oh, they scored, and I have my hand up for about 10 seconds, I will get a high five back. So, yeah, well, I guess that vein.
I'll tell you this, and you can believe it if you want. This has been the craziest year. My wife does not like sports. But the starting of the season, I said, hey, why don't you just watch this game with me? And same, like she watched in the game. We're all hung. And she'd watch the game. She would be on her phone off and on. But I'm telling you, the first 5 or 6 games that she watched, it wasn't in concession, but they won every game. Then they were playing Montreal, the game that they lost 2-1. and there was like 8 minutes left in the game, and she's like, I'm gonna go upstairs, I'm gonna have a shower and meet you in bed. I was like, okay, honey, see you then. And they fucking lost 2-1. Leafs were up 1-0 in the game. Then they played the fucking same thing happened with the Ottawa game. And I said to her, don't go anywhere because the last time you left, the Leafs lost. And she laughed. Not big deal. And they fucking lost again. The only game she's watched is a fucking Vancouver game or the Winnipeg game where they won. I'm just saying, every game my wife has sat down to watch, the Leafs have won. Let's go.
Okay, so I am going to blame or cheer this whole season on your wife. It's her fault. What I will say, too, funny enough, is none of my buddies' wives or girlfriends watch it, which is a problem for me because my mom, Mama Walks, is such a sports nut that I had the wrong impression of women growing up. I'm like, oh my God, she's more nuts about sports than I am. Like, this is insane. No, it's not like that at all for me. Yeah. At least I know there are women out there huge sports fans. Not saying that.
All I'm saying is if my wife I have a tradition. Some might call it a superstition. It's a tradition. And the thing is, I fucking crack out my beautiful air fryer. I fry up some wings. I go to fucking downtown Dirty Brown and make this happen, baby. Have a couple of drinks, have a little, and I enjoy myself. And if she wants to partake in some of this excitement, she's more than welcome to. But you fucking sit down and watch the game.
Oh, man. The Leafs get me into trouble. Like, we were famous for house parties, her and I. And I would be in the basement watching the Leaf game. And she'd be like, hey, you want to come up and socialize, say hi, like so-and-so made it. And I'd be like, yeah, no problem. It's third period. I'll be up at like 9:45. And of course, gradually all the guys would come downstairs, all the boyfriends, what are you doing? What's the score? I'm like, yeah, man, take a seat. Don't be a puss. Like, sit down.
Yo.
I'd get in trouble so much for making the party come downstairs to me. And she'd be so pissed off with all the snacks and everything upstairs.
So the way that we know each other is through Angry Matt, who was on the early episodes of NA30.
Love that guy.
But the first time I met him, our wives are best buddies. So she's throwing a party and Matt's there, and we start like, hey, what's going on? I'm like measuring him up. I'm looking up and down. I'm like, all right, this guy's pretty fit. I mean, not when he was fat like he is now, but he was like pretty fit at the time. Angry Matt knows he's fat. So we were both at his wedding. All his wedding speeches were when Matt was fat or Matt's a dick. One of the two. Anyways, I'm like measuring him up. I'm like, all right, this guy looks pretty cool. I'm gonna talk to him. Yo, what's up? Start chatting. Start to go. As soon as we start talking about the Leafs, fucking bromance started. We just go back and forth. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this: my wife is more than welcome to watch the game with me. She can ask as many questions as she wants, but you got to be there. You can't be fucking leaving when the Leafs lose, because how does that look? The universe says you got to be watching. You want your husband to be happy? Watch this game. What else do I have to say?
When I was a kid and the Leafs would score a goal in the playoffs or something, and say I was sitting like this, I wouldn't move for the rest of the game.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
I was nuts as a kid, okay? So that I really come down from that.
All right. I threw up a handful of questions on our Not After 30 Instagram page. Thank you so much if you voted. First question, will the Leafs remain first in the North Division for I wrote month or March? 71% of voting said yes.
Yeah. So,
let's go.
Yeah, 71% of people we know are pretty intelligent. I'm going to agree with them. And I voted for that. I do agree as well.
All right, good. All right. Next question was. I know. Who will lead the Leafs in points? I gave you Matthews, Marner, Nylander, and Riley. With 50% of the votes said Austin Matthews, which is a very good guess. What is that? 25% said Marner, and the rest said Nylander and then Riley. It's going to be Mitch Marner, guys. I know you guys all love Austin Matthews, and he will have the most goals, but Mitch Marner will have the most. These last 2 seasons or 3 seasons, he's been the point leader. He'll be the point leader this year as well.
Yeah, I'm going to secretly agree with you about Mitch Marner, but just to be contrarian right now, I'm saying Austin Matthews. I agree with the 50%. He is just going to score, 70 goals. So let's go.
Let's go. All right, next question is, who is the biggest competition? Who is the least biggest main competition for first place? Jets, Oilers, Sens, Montreal, with a very impressive 60%. The Jets took it, which is probably the right guess, I'm going to have to say. Oilers, Sens, and Montreal all came in tied with 15% each. Incredible. Winnipeg, let's go.
Yeah, so I agree. Obviously, Winnipeg's defense is shit, but they have one of, if not the best goaltender in the world right now, which is a huge saving grace. And they have great forwards. Mark Scheifele, I think, is unreal. I've always liked that guy. Dubois, all of them. The only other team, and I know they're out of the playoff run right now, but I'm still saying Calgary, man. That's Sutter Farm.
Yeah.
They're on the
Farm loving. Next
on.
question. Can the Leafs get another key piece before the trade deadline? This one, 63% of people said yes. That's mind-blowing to me. I say no. I can't see them making the trade. It's too difficult. They're too much against the cap. I mean, unless Kerfoot is going, which is the only expendable I can see. But this season, I really like Kerfoot. I think he's doing a lot of things really well. He's really honed in on that Nazem Kadri second or third line center role. Lots of speed, always on the forecheck. I like him at $4 million. Do I like him $4 million worth? I don't think so. Can a guy like Nick Patan do that? Possibly. I don't know. So I don't think the trade could happen. I would say no. But Bah, how do you feel about that?
So I do think a trade's going to happen, and I think we're going to get a forward. But
I'm talking key pieces. I'm not talking about.
No, listen. So that's
fourth line goaltender.
I know. So what I'm saying is a key piece. Are we talking Philip Forsberg? No, I don't think we're going to get a player of that caliber, and I don't think anybody should be holding their breath. But is it going to be a key piece for this team for the playoffs that could be instrumental, like a Pat Maroon type guy? And I'm talking about maybe Raquel from Anaheim, maybe Granlund, Eric Stahl, Tyler Bertuzzi. Like, I'm not talking a big name, but could it be a quality trade piece and we could potentially see a top 6 forward, top 6 winger come in? Yeah, I do think so. And you know what? I know we keep saying Kerfoot's name because he's the one obvious choice, kind of making a couple of million, and he's expendable to Leaf fans. But it is going to be some type of package. Like, you're going to see possibly Nick Robertson out the door in a package with money and maybe a pick. So I do see a trade happening. No, not Philip Forsberg, not somebody unreal, but they will get someone.
Okay. I mean, listen, I'm up for anything. I'm still amazed way back when Berkey was able to trade, and he traded and got Phaneuf, and he traded fucking Jason Blake and Vesa Tosco. Like, when that happened, like, I'll always be waiting for another big one like that. Anyways, okay, moving on. Will Matthews get 50 goals? 25% said yes. An astounding 75% of people said no. Yay or nay? I don't buy it, man. This guy heats up. He's going to net another 20 before you know it, baby. Let's go.
So you're saying yeah to 50. You're keeping
I'm saying yeah. I'm saying true. Let's go.
I can't remember. I think I said he wasn't going to make 50.
You said 40.
I said 4. Okay, so I'm going to say, man, I hate to say this, but I feel just like that time off, he's going to hit like 48.
Oh, like last season, yeah. And the season shuts down.
And I think it's going to be one of those things, man. If he keeps playing the way he is, like, I want him to win the Hart or Ross, whatever, but it's like Patty Kane, McDavid. There are some players out there that are just unreal right now, man. Like Patty Kane on Chicago, holy shit. I have him on fantasy, like, holy shit.
He's doing some magic. I think he's really, because Taves isn't there, I think he's really kind of owning the leadership role there.
Patty Kane's a leadership role, yeah.
And who was it? Seabrook who just went down?
Yeah.
You just called, yeah. So
retired.
I mean, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, Seabrook retired. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, when we look at it, like, I mean, he's the last guy skating right now from that Stanley Cup run. So
I actually think Sheldon Keefe has a strong chance of being in the Jack Adams consideration, but I think that young guy in Chicago, man, just the way the NHL loves their storylines and teams,
yeah.
Like that guy
and that goaltender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Now, maybe it was a little bit of my. I should have probably done like a percentage like the other ones, but I did like the running scale. And the question is Nylander's contract? Is Nylander worth his contract? This was like 2/3 of the way yes. So I don't know how Instagram doesn't give you a breakdown on it, but I'm going to say 2/3 of everybody said yes, he is worth the 6.9 milli he's making.
Yeah, of course he's worth it. I try not to swear a lot, but honestly, there are a lot of fucking idiots out there.
Truth.
No matter the sport, NHL, NFL, NBA, the contracts always look terrible. Well, guess what? If the player's sick and he continues to be sick, all it takes is 2 years usually before that contract looks good. And you're on to the next guy, because the way inflation and the market works is there's always going to be somebody in the future to make more. So, of course, as long as Willie was on the same trajectory that he was on, it was always going to be worth the money. He just might not, he might have force his way out of Toronto's future with the amount of money, depending on what we paid the other guys, which is a different story. But it was always going to be worth it. Like these people who bitch the first year a guy's paid, did your tax money go right to that guy's fucking pocket? Otherwise, shut up. It always is worth it if he's a good player. The only time it's not worth it if he's not a good player. And yeah, that's a huge fuck up. It happens a lot.
And I think he's really showing this. I mean, even last season, I thought he played fairly well after the break. He's showing that the money, he's worth the money. He is a good to great. He's a good to very good player. I wouldn't say a great player, but Austin Matthews is a great player, borderline, if not elite.
Yeah, like he brings it up on Overdrive all the time. Ray Ferraro has what, like close to 1,000 points or had 800 goals or something. That guy is not a Hall of Famer, and even he admits it. So yes, Willie is not probably a great player. He's going to be a Hall of Fame, like what Matthews and Marner potentially could be. Yeah, he's not in the same stratosphere. He's also not making $13 million. There's a reason.
There you go. And that's a great point. Like he's basically making half of what Matthews is making.
Yeah,
and Matthews is the best player on this team, and possibly the top 3 players or top 5 players in the league, whatever you want to say. I mean, at the end of the year, this will be so easy to sort out. But now we're in the middle of it. We're in the thick of it. It's hard to kind of make it out. Moving on. How good or bad are those St. Pat jerseys? Now, before you answer this question, Ba, is there any Irish in your bloodline?
There is.
I'm sorry to hear that, my man. I fucking hate anything Irish except for Irish whiskey and Conor McGregor. And I'm pretty sure I fucking hate everything else Irish. I fucking hate those St. Pat's jerseys. I get it. It's part of the history. But so are the arenas. So let's just, why not just fucking do that instead? I get St. Patrick's Day, the celebration. But those fucking jerseys are ugly. And thank you, Facebook, for this piece of shit. Every day is a post from the past that creeps up in my feed. And it says, this day 2 years ago, you said, I fucking hate watching the Toronto St. Pats. Can't wait for the Leafs to come back. Which means they fucking lost. Now, in the 3 or 4 games that popped up, they lost 3 out of the 4 games.
Yeah, so I totally believe in that type of superstition, and maybe it's time to retire, but I actually don't mind them. If they were this year's 3rd jersey and had like 20 games being worn, yeah, I think I might fucking hate them. But for a team that we were actually called the St. Pats, and they're not just doing some gimmicky Irish thing, and we're only wearing it once or twice a year, usually around St. Patty's Day, yeah, it's okay with me. The record's not great, but, I'm Irish. I enjoy it, besides my lack of being able to, produce potatoes or anything, and my drinking ability. Like, my love of those jerseys about the only Irish thing.
All right. The numbers were 60% 40% are disgusted by it.
They're okay, man. More than 2 games, I say no. But for what they are now, I want Toronto arenas, or those white thirds we had during the Sundin era with the blue shoulders.
Yeah.
Or even go the Wendell Clark, like blue and white.
Yeah, the 70s and 80s Leafs.
Come on, man. Don't put the gray in our jerseys like these reverse red. Like, it's blue and white. Just go, yeah. I mean, you got, 100 years to check. And
you can figure it out within 100. And also, I don't know about you, but I was always a kid that loved those historic pieces where they showed all the generations of jerseys.
Yeah. I have one of these soon. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that, but the thing is, they missed out. There's always that 3rd jersey, especially the last 20, 30 years. They've been doing 3rd jerseys. That's what I really want. I want a fucking huge thing of all the fucking jerseys they've worn on the ice, and then I can fucking handpick. Because sometimes when I go back and watch that the highlights from the 60s, or when I see like these jerseys. I really like those jerseys, and I'm warming up to the retro jerseys from this season. I do wish it was white and not gray, but I know they need to do something a little bit different. Even though there's no gray, could you imagine they did fucking blue and green, like fucking those fucking diapers that fucking Vancouver wears?
Yeah,
Those
you know
fucking
what? Yeah. So you know what they should do next? Just for like kind of one-offs, the Yankee pinstripes, just turn them red and white. Just as like a shake it up. No, it's fucking stupid, okay? Blue and white 100 years. I know you tried to give Tampa the colors. It didn't work.
No.
Blue and white.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is Tampa fan base actually complained that it wasn't blue, gray, and black like they've always been, that they went blue and white. And it's not even like you couldn't use another fucking blue, you dicks. You use identical blue.
There's no reason Tampa should have got away from the black. Yeah, those jerseys could have been updated, but Florida was red, Carolina's red. You had this black with some blue tint. Like there was no team that really had those colors. It was great. And then you just do the same as it's Detroit's jersey in leaf color. They should have done like a black.
Yeah, something.
Man, I could go off about the Tampa jerseys.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's keep. Me too. I feel the same way. All right, moving on. How many goalies will the Leafs use this year? Options were 2, 3, 4, 5 plus. Now, I'm going to say here that is 10. Okay, 50% said 4, which I agree with. And then it went 20% said 20% said 5, and then 10% between 2 and 3 goalies, if that wasn't confusing.
It was a bit, but here I chose 4 goalies. They've already used 3 this season. I doubt Hutchinson gets another crack. Who knows? Like we've said before with Campbell.
Who knows?
So with Freddie, who's going to back, like potentially Wall? Are they going to give this, like when you say 4 goalies, they could just be at the end of the year, this young Finnish guy gets 1 game, still counts.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's going to be 4. I really hope Hutchinson doesn't get another game. Yeah, I don't care if he lights it up in the Marlies.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so was that the last one? Okay, yeah. So last one was, because the other question was just asking questions to the pod. So I was curious. I was like, are these all just gonna be like fucking Leaf fanboys like us who just want to like homer out and give all the right stats so that we just sound like amazing? Go Leafs go, or no Leafs no? 63% said go Leafs go. Let's go, baby. But you know what that shows? That shows almost 50% down the middle, yay or nay. So I do actually like these numbers quite a bit because it gives you both view vantage points, and I like that a lot. So I'm happy with the way that this survey worked out. Let's go. We'll do it again for the next one.
Yeah, to the 63%. Woo, go Leafs go. I couldn't agree more. You guys are so smart, so attractive, just like so funny. You guys are the best. I would date all.
The best. The center.
To the other percentage, thanks for coming out, I guess.
Bah, let's wrap this baby up. The Leafs are in a spot where still in first place as of right now, in first place. Maybe next time we touch base, maybe not. But what I'm happy is the Leafs are in first. They're playing really well overall. Yes, slump, fatigue, whatever you want to call it. The good news is we're still in first. Our team's looking good. Our players are playing well. What more could you ask for? For sure, a win against Ottawa would have been way better than a loss against Ottawa. Splitting Vancouver would have been way better than losing 2 to Vancouver. At the end of the day, though, this team is playing very well overall. You got anything to add to that?
The team is playing sick. And Leaf fans and El Jefe, if I told you guys at the start of the season going into March break, you would be 19, 9-2, and in first place in the Northern Division, would you take it? I would. I'd be fucking happy, and that's what I'm ending on. Go, Leafs, go. The first place team, and will be the first place team going into the playoffs.
Let's go, baby. That's what I want to hear. All right, Ba. Listen, we're going to tie this sucker up. Where can the people find you? I know you got a lot coming up.
Yeah, we're going to be doing Mustard soon. I've got a new Raptors B-ball pod coming out soon. A lot to talk about Lowry, what's going on in the East. I know our boy Melky's got Nobody Gives a Fuck coming up soon with South Park. I might contribute. Going to be hilarious. But otherwise, you're going to see me again probably in 2 weeks back here talking about some wins.
That's it. Let's go, baby. I love it. This is a Non After 30 podcast. This is Leaf Edition. Hey, Blue Jay fans, we haven't forgot about you. We're going to have something coming up very soon, okay?
Let's go.
I am so hyped. So
Me
hyped.
too.
Let's go, baby. And maybe, Bob, maybe we can do this in person soon. Who knows?
I would love that, dude. I'm so sick of technology, man.
Fuck. I mean, especially today, since we had both of our lives fall apart. Via
Almost
technology.
put my fist through a screen, people. Almost.
All right. With that being said, thank you for tuning in, downloading, and checking this out. This is a Leaf Edition. Let's go, baby.
Oh, let's go. Fuck me, right?